Good morning, everyone. Wow, huge run up off the CPI news. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, Johnny, I am definitely not looking at any sort of failure here. Not after this big move. Good afternoon, yes. Morning, afternoon, all of the above. Good evening, maybe to some. Man, yeah, these patterns are so hard to trade because that is just such a massive move. How big is that even? Wow, 60 points. 60-point move in a matter of minutes. Good morning, Exponential. Yeah, I'm looking for some sort of possibility of a secondary channel. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Something along those lines. We're just going to have to wait a little bit. Let prices settle down or confirm something. Bonjour, lost. Hey, Greg. Good morning. Johnny says, you know how you're able to withdraw up to 25K before you have to forfeit 10% of withdrawals? That is 25K per account, right? It is, yes. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So little napkin math. You can withdraw up to $500,000 across 20 accounts before Apex takes any profits. So pretty good deal, I'd say. Pretty good deal. Good morning, Bill. How are we today? Yeah, looks like the market might correct a little bit here. Hey, Matthew, good morning. Yeah, there's not much that I am seeing that I like quite yet. Wanting prices to settle down a little bit. From something that the Nasdaq looks a bit better as far as a pretty obvious spike in channel. So expecting a new high there. We can hold the EMA. We already have our second entry long happen below the EMA. I don't know, maybe a higher low here. I did tick below. I don't know, we moved below the EMA. And the ES is holding below the EMA, so I'm gonna hold off on that. Tempting though if it finishes really nice. Really tempting, actually. Please finish bearish so I'm not tempted. Alright, good. Temptation is gone. But if we do push above the EMA and get a higher low, we'll have to take that here. Hey Anders, good morning. Alright, well we are back above the EMA on the Nasdaq. Do you like a higher low if we can form here? S&P's above the EMA as well. Our low's going to be tempting. Good morning, Shayak. Yes, massive spike today. Coming off the CPI news, which was worse than expected by 0.1% across the board. And of course, bad economic news these days is a good thing, as it means that the Fed can raise rates or doesn't have to slow down the rate hikes. Sorry. Wow, I'm saying that backwards. Means they are more likely to slow down with rate hikes when economic news is not as bad. It's still early over here, guys. Give me some grace. Specific time traders, you know, it's a tough thing. All right, get up at 5 every day. I'm sure there's a worse time zone. There's probably folks that have to get up in the middle of the night, but if you have a worse time zone than me, let me know. Let us know in the live chat. Anyone have to start after midnight? All the delivery guy for you coughing coming. Oof, I appreciate it. This water only does so much, you know? Engulfing high or low on the Nasdaq. Oof. Yep. That's risky for sure. Risking 10 points to make 10 points. Yeah, on a day like today, for sure. Yeah, that is the tricky part there. We do already have a new high off the initial push up, so the secondary channel is not a for sure thing. Above the EMA now. Yeah, that is true. That is true. When you have a big move up and then it ranges, consolidates, most likely to then continue higher. So if you get a failed breakout to the downside, that's usually good. Pretty reliable. To get that higher low here, it's threatening. All right, looks like we might actually reach up for a new high of the secondary channel, which is great. Confirming our analysis. Hey, Pepe, good morning. Or afternoon, or evening, or whatever it is for you. Good to see you. You're in Australia, isn't that right, Pepe? Hey, Archer, good morning. Five minutes to the open, folks. And this is going to be an interesting one. That is for sure. Good evening from Australia. Good morning from the West Coast. Well, early morning from the West Coast of the US. This is when Archer says that he's in America. A higher low is tempting, but I think at this point would need failed second entry long. That's a huge bar too. Figure out where our gap is. Way the heck down there. This is just going to be a massive gap to fill. I don't think there's any high or anything yesterday. This is just way above any sort of price action. Curious what this whole move looks like on the 10,000 tick chart. There's the daily. Look at that on the daily. Craziness, man. Just straight up Had a couple days that looked like we were going to pull back, and then nope. All right, let's check out the 10,000 tick. See if we can find any more insights. I mean, it looks like it has a breaking new high, basically. That's kind of what we got on the 2K tick, but we're just doing the 10K. It looks like we already have a breaking new high. Maybe in for a big correction here. The Nasdaq, possible mini little second entry long here. See how this ends. Check out the 10K tick on the Nasdaq just briefly. Yeah, that actually does still look like a spike in a channel going on. All right, let's see if we can get this. Right at the EMA. Pull back, first entry, pull back. This could be our second entry. New high expected. Doesn't look like this bar is going to form though. One minute to the open as well. What the? Jeez Louise, I did not mean getting trade there. What on earth happened? Accidentally clicked a button. Well, that could have been really bad. Oof, jeez. Yeah, good thing I caught that. I mean, I think it was a short. I'd really be screwed now. Start off the day with a massive loss for absolutely no reason. Or it could have gotten really lucky. That's true to say. But you know, it doesn't ever seem to go that way on those kind of things. If we can get maybe a higher low confirming the second entry long. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, we may be in for that correction here. Over on the ES, a new high made as well, even off that secondary channel. And we have a giant gap to fill too. New highs on new highs on new highs, yeah. Things look a little bit better on the Nasdaq. We still haven't made a new high. We got 2 legs back of bearishness, so maybe a push above the EMA here. Kind of getting congested. Gonna have to let this bearish correction play out. Looks like it possibly played out on the Nasdaq already. Move down, break new low. We'll have to see a push above the EMA and a failed second entry short. Consider taking a trade. I think that's our first entry there. But again, we have to be a little bit, geez Louise, moving fast. See if we can get that failure. Might happen quickly. This is a perfect area for it to happen. Right at the EMA. Downtrend played out, but it looks like it's just gonna go up. Man, the Nasdaq is volatile today. Trying to see if there's any wider pattern here on the ES that we could play. Looks like it on the 10K chart, actually. Fits pretty nicely. Okay, there you go. That fits pretty good. Hey, Toad. Good morning. Well, massive spike. Toad's asking what's going on with the volatility. I mean, we had a massive spike overnight off the CPI data. So anytime you have that big of a move, there's going to be a lot of players in either trying to fade this, trying to support the move. So that'd be my best guess is just algorithms are trying to figure out what the heck to do with this. Institutions are trying to figure out what the heck to do with this. Could consider a second entry long if it forms here on the Nasdaq, but it looks like this first entry might take us to a new high. Does kind of look like a range on the NQ. Agree with you, Johnny. Would be the triple top. Johnny asked, would I take a higher low on the S&P? I would have if it formed better. Formed pretty high up there. It looks like we're headed up to a new high. Nasdaq breaking out of this little range. Definitely not going to fade this, that's for sure. S&P very close to a new high, and then we finally might get a correction. Would be the new high of the spiking channel. This is the new high of this spiking channel. As did not quite make that new high on the S&P, while the Nasdaq looking like it might go back into the range. We're like one tick away, but maybe this will be enough. Maybe this will be enough to be considered a new attempt, and we correct. Just gonna have to wait and see. Johnny's asking, how long have I had my longest funded account from Apex? Let me check. It's hard to tell because it only counts trading days, huh? But it's been over a year for sure. A year and change. Melvin is asking, how long does it take you to pass the eval for 300k account? That's taken different amounts of time, just kind of depends. This one has taken, I'm currently doing, we've been in it for a month and a half, I believe. We're really close, getting there, but had a couple setbacks. yeah, the main thing I would say with evals is just don't try to pass them too quickly. You don't want to try to get in. You don't want to get into the loop of just like YOLOing eval accounts and then resetting them, then YOLOing them again. Like, treat it as if you would a regular live money account. Take your time. Don't worry about it. Like, get it to where whatever the monthly fee you have to pay for the eval is something that you're comfortable with and don't mind paying every month. And yeah, just chip away at it slowly.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 24th Joy of Painting series.
Yeah, Johnny, exactly. I mean, I think that's the primary reason, is that if you're trying to get through evaluations really quickly, that habit is going to carry over to when you get funded. And yeah, that's just a recipe for disaster. You want to build in that discipline of slow and steady. At some point, you should get your own account instead of Apex, one or the other. So, do you have any thoughts on that? I don't think it matters, you know, as long as you're pulling money out. I don't see any distinct advantages to like only having your own. I mean, I have both, right? So I trade both. But I wouldn't say that it's like, oh, you have to at some point never use funded accounts again and only trade your personal. I don't know why that would be the case. With the leverage you can get from them, you know, and you're getting paid, I don't, it doesn't, yeah, I'm not sure why. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having your own funded account or your own funding your own account. And I do both. I think it's good. It depends on who you are too. Like some people, they need their own account just mentally because they treat funded accounts like monopoly money, you know, and having your own account, whatever, money on the line can change how you approach things. For me, I'm able to kind of treat them the same, so it doesn't really matter to me. Melvin, good question. How many evals have I blown? Plenty. Plenty. For the same reason, too. Like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, get a bunch and try to pass them really quick. All right, continuing up here into this new high. I'm gonna probably be checking the 10,000 tick chart quite a bit, as when you have these big moves, big volatility today, looking at that higher tick frame chart can be very helpful. And it still looks like we're in this channel on that, so maybe look for something that kind of agrees with that. That looks pretty good. See if it can hold. As failing traders, we love relatable stories. Yeah, totally, Thomas. Look, man, that's the thing, is every single trader, no matter how successful they are, can We can all relate to the same stuff. Even the Wall Street billionaires, you know. Well, no, because they're probably hedge funds and stuff, but any active traders, any Wall Street proprietary traders. But even the hedge funds, I'm sure that they have lost massive amounts on an investment they were choosing or a hedge that went wrong or whatever. Part of the game. All right, overshooting a little bit. Let's see if it looks like an overshoot on the 10K. It does not. So let's adjust our channel again. There we go. That keeps us in the game. Overshoot reacting though. Yeah, we'll be cautious of that. On the NQ, still looks like we're ready to correct. Check out the 10,000 tick on the Nasdaq. Maybe a larger one like that. See how that looks on the lower time frame. And I have these weird gaps at the bottom and the top, unfortunately. Hard to make that fit. So it says possibly retrace the entire overnight spike today. Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy? That'd be such an insane reversal. Thanks for asking, Thomas. Yeah, it's coming along well. I'm throwing on some oil trades, trying to build up the reps. Oil's got a nice little trend today as well. And the Russell 2000s and their instrument that I've been playing around with. Symbol RTY. Yeah, there you go, Michael. S&P still hanging around at the top of this channel, so yeah, it definitely doesn't look like an overshoot anymore. This channel is looking good. Trying to see if we have any more news on the horizon today. It doesn't look like it. We do have some Fed speak going on pretty soon. Barr is going to be speaking. Goolsby is going to be speaking, but Neither of them are market movers, really. Although you never know. See if we can correct a little bit. Give us an entry. Still trying to figure out what the heck to do over here. That'd be a wider trend, you know what I mean? Maybe that. Maybe we're strong enough to have something like that. See how the midline looks. Okay. Looks great if you just cut out this one little area right here. Which is what I might do, because that's how the 10,000 tick fits. We'll just leave it for a bit, see what prices do, see if we get any confirmation one way or the other. Still just waiting for a larger correction here. We don't have any trade that we would want to take. The top. Yeah, and it's right at a whole number too. That's a good call out, Michael. Right at 4,500 psychological level. So not a bad time just to pause for a minute and wait to see what prices do next. Matthew, unfortunately, I didn't take a trade. That was completely a random, like, tech error. I think I accidentally clicked the sell button or something, so I just tried to close it out instantly. And fortunately, got out without any major damage. Yeah, that's the worst. Like Saif and I were talking about, that never usually goes in your favor when that kind of stuff happens. It's never like, ooh, I accidentally clicked a button and I just made a massive win. It's usually always the opposite. Testing the top of that channel there. The 10K chart. On this chart, it still looks like we were quite a ways away from that channel, so go back to the drawing board here. This is as probably steep as we could get it without cutting off any price action and doing something like that. Bounce off the top. Nasdaq a bit weak compared to the S&P. It's not making the same steep move up, kind of chopping along here. Come on, S&P, just give us a pullback here. Give us some sort of opportunity. Okay, we're at the top again. It's still on the 10K. It does not look like it's overshot just yet. Yeah, we would have to do something like this to get it to fit. Completely cut out that action down there. This has got to be an overshoot at this point, right? Waiting to see if prices are going to react to this possible overshoot or not. Again, on the 10K, we're looking fine. So we will see what is true pattern here. Still waiting for that strong reaction here, just not getting it. I mean, the market has just been going straight up essentially since 5:30 this morning. Sorry, 8:30 this morning, Central Time or Eastern Time, USA time. How far away we are from the EMA on the 10K chart. I mean, just massive. This thing is begging for a correction. But at the same time, the market can do crazy things, and you never want to try to bet on a correction. Don't even think about selling on a day like today. I don't know if that's anyone here, but if that's you, just don't do that. You're going to get burned in the long run. Matthew says, what do you think of the second entry long at 932? Don't like it. Because at this point, we didn't have this larger channel. Right, so here's the setup. Didn't have this big guy. We just had the spike up, which created a new high, the secondary channel, which created a new high, and then a second entry long. This also could easily be a wider correction channel starting like that. But yeah, I don't like taking that one. It feels a little bit late. It ended up working out, but one of those that might not work out the next time. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting a correction. So that overshoot might be working its magic, or just a regular correction on the 10K. So this is good. We can do something with a correction. We can't really do anything with just this soft float upwards with no pullbacks and no entries. Nasdaq correcting as well. Michael took it for 1.5 points. Whew. I'm telling you, man. That's gonna be it's gonna bring some heartache in the future taking setups like that. There's a reason that the trend is your friend. Alright, let's see how this downtrend plays out, this correction plays out. Could possibly get 2 legs, like so. And that's what we'd be looking for, is for this guy to have a break and a new low and then a push above the EMA. We can look at buying again. Melvin says, are you a self-taught trader? Can see your strategy is the same as Pat's and Al Brooks. Yeah, those are the guys I learned from. I've never done any of the courses or anything that either of them offer, just resources that they provide for free. Some incredibly dry Al Brooks books and then just a lot of chart time. Johnny asked, what from Al Brooks do you learn that Pat doesn't teach? Al Brooks' approach is different, for sure. Very much looks at each individual bar and like what's happening on each bar. He would have a lot more entries, which some people are down with. I don't enjoy that. He does a lot of like averaging down and things like that. So the most valuable thing I think is just like learning to interpret each bar. What does it mean? What is it trying to tell you? But he would have probably bought like each one of these bull bars on the way up, bought above the bull bars. And yeah, that's how he would manage it. Totally, Melvin. Yeah. Yep. You got to be patient, wait for the right setup. You don't have the context on your side, you really don't have much of anything. Got a second entry short on the Nasdaq. I am not interested in shorting this market at all, but just as a note that it is there, and maybe it might make a new low of this downtrend and we can keep buying. You can see what I'm seeing. We got a pullback, first entry, pullback. This would be the second entry if it ticks below a bear bar. Yep, we do expect correction for sure, Melvin. To me, that doesn't mean that I'd be willing to sell, though. I want to let the correction play out. Not that you can't sell, but like the trend on my side. Grig's calling out a shorter uptrend channel on the Nasdaq. I'm imagining you're talking about something like this, perhaps. Cool, we got a new low of that moved down too, so feel a bit more confident in buying. Don't see, hee hee, there we go. Got something like that. Push above the EMA on the Nasdaq, and perhaps a higher low would definitely be interesting. Actually, we have first entry, second entry short failure. So a higher low after this would confirm second entry short failure. On the ES, we also have a first entry short failure. Maybe we can get a second entry and a failure as well. EMA is not holding on the Nasdaq yet, so that's not a good sign. Over on the ES, we were really close to getting that second pullback, but this is pretty dang stacked in here. Oh, I'm not really keen on taking a trade in that. I think we have a possibility of more of a correction going. Too congested, but there it does move up. As is still below the EMA. Bummer. That would have been great if we could have got a good looking failed second entry short there. S&P putting in a higher low here, perhaps. Not touching the EMA though, and we're still in that congestion. And of course it launches up. Why the heck not? Still looks good on the 10K. Still looks like we were in the channel. All right, NAS is pushing above the EMA. We have one entry to the short side. Could get one more pullback. Failed second entry. let's see if we can get this right here. Don't want the ES to make a new high first. This bar has to finish really well. Not look like that's happening. Now this is going to be a giant bar. Melvin's asking about the second entry long, I assume, on the ES. There really isn't one, to be honest. Maybe by the count you have... Yeah, I guess by the count you have first entry, pullback, second entry. It's just so congested right in here. And then the signal bar is pretty much a doji. That was really strong. You still might consider it with how strong the market has been, but otherwise, I don't know. Not clean enough for my taste. I think we got to be a little bit cautious. We're starting to see some shots across the bow. This is a big move down by the bears. Took a bunch of candles to get above the EMA. Big bar down. Some more candles up. Couple big bars down. So not as strong of a bullish trend anymore. Getting a little bit back and forth action here. Sellers are definitely making an attempt. Oops, sorry. Yeah, just wanted to mention really quick, guys, that if you didn't see, I was able to work with Replicano, get a discount off the trade copier for everyone. So if you have multiple eval accounts or multiple funded accounts or whatever, great way to trade them all at the same time. super easy. I use it. I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, like the code and whatnot is in the description if you're interested. And we are getting a massive push up. New high created on the ES. No longer considering that second entry. Johnny, you're right that range plays don't care too much about the EMA, but we're not in an overall range structure. So even if you're taking like a small range trade, if you're in an overall trend, the EMA, I would say, still matters. ES made a new high. Nasdaq, not so much. Nasdaq's still quite a bit weaker relatively. Still waiting for that failed second entry short. Be patient here and see if we can get it. All right, check it out. First entry short is now pushing above the EMA. Just need one more little guy here. Come on, Nasdaq. Give us what we need here. Likely move too high here. Bummer. That would have been a great context for a failed second entry short. Channel up, break. We're expecting a new high. This downtrend played out already. And if we just had first entry and then the second entry right here, that's exactly what we would want. Hey, thanks, MKR. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Juan Pablo, good morning. Good morning. Can I explain if I'm short down or short high? I'm not sure I understand your question. Are you asking? I was talking about a failed second entry short. Maybe that's what you're referring to. So a failed second entry short is a long trade. I'm waiting for 2 attempts for the bears to fail and then trapping all of those traders that are trying to go short in this major bull trend. So hopefully that answers your question. A failed second entry short is a long. All right, Nasdaq about to get a new high, maybe, or we already did actually by a tick. Like, S&P made a new high as well. Check out the 10K chart. It's still chugging along. Still looking good. Haven't even gotten close to that EMA all day since the news item. And yet again, we're just going to have to pause a little bit, let the market come to us. Any sort of bearish correction, we just want to let it play out. Then we can resume buying again. There you go, Johnny. Trade that range. Be the range. While we're waiting for something to set up, definitely don't forget to hit that like button. Super supports the channel. I appreciate it a lot. If it is in fact that you like this, all right, if you're hanging out and you do enjoy this, simple token of your gratitude, I would appreciate it. This is probably one of those days where it's just like you're expecting a correction all day and then it just keeps chugging higher. I think we're probably out of gap fill territory. It doesn't look, I mean, any attempts by the bears have been shot down. This could have picked up some steam, but nope. Instant push above the EMA. This is a big bearish bar. Nope. Back above the EMA. So sellers were trying there. There's definitely some signs that we could have gotten some selling, and they all got reversed. Yeah, I hear you, Johnny. It can be very challenging when all your trends are getting new highs. You have to buy pretty high up. Doesn't feel good all the time, but you just gotta trust it, and then not jump into stuff that doesn't look great, because you know, we can look back and go, oh man, all these sketchy setups worked. So the next sketchy setup I see, I'm going to take, and then that's going to be the one that doesn't work. So that for me can be the trickiest thing. Like finally convincing myself to play a setup that's not perfect, and then that's the one that doesn't work. I agree, Thomas. There is a world where the bigger uptrend is still in play without an overshoot. It's called the world of the 10,000 tick chart. Look at that. It's just like perfect. So in order to have that fit on this chart, we just have to ignore these swings here, which, you know, is a possibility. These are the kind of swings that can get ignored, where it's just like one big bar down, one big bar up, one big bar down, one big bar up. And you just have the touches on the top. Oh, okay. I might be inclined on that, Johnny. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit unconventional for sure, but hey, it's really well on the 10K, so we might just have to play it. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna keep that. It aligns with the 10K. It makes sense that we're still pushing up here. Now, if we could only find bigger pattern on the Nasdaq that fits just as well as that one does. That's pretty good right there, actually. I like that. Midline fits really nice. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. I don't even know what I did differently. I thought it was about more or less the same thing, but hey, there we go. Doesn't really matter either way. We're looking for a long, obviously. We're not, we're still in a bullish trend. We're looking for long opportunities. But at least for me, it kind of puts my mind at ease where it's like, okay, the pattern is definitely fitting what I'm seeing with the candles. Come on, baby. Let's get a pullback and a second entry. Just want to make sure that any short-term downtrend is not in play when we take it. If we can get a clear break and a new low of the downtrend and then a second entry, it's going to be golden. Johnny says, I'm selling here. We have to fill the gap. Okay. Yeah, good idea. Go for it. Market can't keep going up, right? No way. Getting that pullback. I wish we had a little bit more touch on the MA there. How do you ground yourself before the market grounds you when you're on a win streak and become overconfident? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I always just try to remember that any of us, even the pros, are just one small step away from destruction. I don't know, maybe if you've been humbled by the market enough times, it's just always there. But yeah, I don't ever, well, I don't want to say ever because, you know, you never know what's going to happen. But to me, I don't have too much of a problem getting overconfident just because I know the market can be ruthless. I've seen it happen. So if I'm on a win streak, it's like, man, this is great. When's it going to end? Don't lose. Gosh, I keep forgetting about that, Archer. It's the best advice. I say it all the time, and I always forget to just do that. I'll try to remember for the rest of the day today to not lose. Of course, I already screwed that up with the technical error this morning. Forgot the rule number 1. Sorry to hear that, Johnny. Yeah, that is no fun. Well, maybe last month will help you remember that, Johnny. Just keep that in mind as you continue to win. Like, hey, remember what happened last month? Hold on to that feeling, you know, of when you started losing and everything was crumbling. Just remember that. Maybe that's your moment that you can hold on to of how the market can humble us all. Or that, Tom, is you can't lose if you don't play. That's for sure. If we all just quit now, we will never lose again. Hey, Grateful American, what's up? Yeah, I tried Top Step back in the day. I don't really need to now. Like, I've funded accounts with Apex, but I can totally see why some would want to do Top Step. It's more expensive though, and you can't you can only trade 3 accounts at a time. So that's why I've never ventured into those waters, at least lately. Oop, I'm muted. I don't know how long I've been muted. If you heard any of my answers, I was talking to Grateful American. But all right, let me know if you already answered the question, if you could hear me. We heard. Okay, good. All right, Nasdaq has a second entry long Not really fully at the EMA though. I'll wait for a double trap or a higher low. Nice, Johnny on that failed breakout. Cool, cool. Could have risked the second entry long. Got a lot going for it. Pull back, first entry, pull back. Second entry, just, man, I wanted to see this candle a little bit lower on the EMA. Pepe, no, actually, you do not. Once you have a funded account with Apex, you have the option to just pay a lifetime fee. You can choose to do monthly payments on your funded account, but otherwise, yeah, you can just do a lifetime fee, one-time payment of, I don't know, like $100 or so, and then you're good to go. You don't have to pay anything. You're good to go until you blow the account. Yeah, that is true. But more incentive to trade slow and build it up as you go, you know, if you're having to invest like a lifetime fee and all that. That's a tricky spot to be in, Johnny. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. One way to approach that, Johnny, is maybe think of like the worst possible scenario and how you'd feel. Like let's say you pay the lifetime for all of them and then you blow it in a week. How are you gonna feel then? Or what if you pay monthly and you keep doing well and all of a sudden now you're locked into a monthly payment with 18 accounts. So I don't know. That's maybe one way to think about it. Which would be the worst scenario for you? Attaboy, Johnny. I'm glad to hear you're trading small on those. Right at the top of the channel yet again on the S&P. Miranda, nice question. If the 21 EMA is there, just for context, why was that a bad entry on the Nasdaq? Why was that candle not good? Was that just intuition? Yeah, I think like we just had, obviously this bullish, the trend is bullish, right? I mean, we know that. Zoom out, it's bullish. We're looking for long setups. But this short-term trend did have a break in a new high. This is the time, and the ES just had a new high. So this is just the push phase to get a big correction phase. So this is the time in the chart where we could have seen a move even back to the channel line. So I really wanted the second entry to just be awesome to be able to take. And the farther away that a signal bar is from the EMA, the sketchier it gets. And this wasn't even touching. This is an average, so you want to see prices come back to the average. And if we haven't yet, you can, those are the kind of setups where you can see just one more move down, a tick lower, and then it goes where you thought it would go. So I just wanted to see the bar lower, just from experience, having seen a lot of those kind of setups fail. I don't think it was a bad setup to take a chance on if anyone took that second entry long. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but personally, there's things that I feel comfortable with and I don't feel comfortable with, that even like may follow the rules of price action. And that was one of those moments where I was like, I guess so. Yeah, intuition is probably the best answer. Of like, I've seen that fail too many times that I want a little bit more confirmation than that. Archer says, have a much smaller channel, drew it like a spike in a channel. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to keep it. It doesn't matter too much. We know the trend is up, so we're just looking for corrections to play out and longs to set up. Even if you have a slightly different channel, I think that's fine. Johnny asks, would I rather take one trade that has a 90% win rate with the 1-to-1 risk, or 10 trades with a 60% win rate, 1-to-1 risk? Well, in both of those scenarios, the 90% win rate with 1-to-1 risk is going to be more profitable in the long run. So while you will be more active in the 60% 1-to-1 scenario, you will not, you'll just have a lower expected value from each of your trades. So I'd prefer the 90% win rate one. And if you know you have a 90% edge, then you can really size up on that one trade. Now, if you had a 60% win rate with a 1 risk to 5 reward or something, okay, now that's different. Then that would have a higher expected value. But if it's the same risk and you have more of a win rate on 1, then that's the one to go with. Just my 2 cents. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I feel like I should say that before everything I say. Just memorize it to where I can say it in like 1 second. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but we have a second entry long forming. Right, we get a little bounce off the EMA. Yeah, I can't think of the math off the top of my head with a 10 trade sample. Probably, it would probably in that scenario, you probably have more money in your pocket off 10, 60% win rate trades. However, what I mean is the expected value of each trade is lower on the 60% win strategy. So over the course of time, the 90% one is mathematically a better strategy. But yeah, if you're risking the same amount, then you have options. But if you know that you have a 90% edge, again, risk more, because it's mathematically better. So why wouldn't you put your money behind something that has a higher probability of succeeding or a higher expected value? The NAS is getting close to that trend channel line. The Nasdaq moving down, but the ES does have 2 legs right now of this bearish correction. If we get a push above the EMA, that will be the second entry long. And then we just need one little higher low to confirm, and we can get a long setup. But this is a bit concerning here. The Nasdaq is dropping off quite steep. Might take the ES with it. Hey, one stop trader, what's going on? Good morning. We'll see if we can get a push above the EMA here, folks. Not quite, Johnny, because remember, you only have a 60% chance, so 40% of those trades are going to be losers. You'd have to subtract that. Oh, maybe make an Excel sheet and figure out all the math there and go for it. I mean, that's the work that we all have to do, right? In formulating our trading approach. And there's going to be different styles, right? Some people are okay with lower win rate strategies. Some people are not. Like, you just have to make sure you have an edge at the end of the day and take your setup. Yeah, again, Johnny, that's assuming that you're risking the same amount. But my point is that if you have a 90% chance of success, then you'd want to put more risk into that. Just because the math is better, right? But yeah, if you're risking the same and you get a lot more trades in a 60% strategy, if your risk is the same, then you will make more money. Okay, let's see if we can get a higher low here. Almost putting in a little range up here. Triple test right across there. The other factor too, Johnny, is the emotional aspect of it. The lower your win rate, the more losses in a row you're going to take. And so what if all 4 of those losses happen right off the bat, you know, and you're 400 in the hole? Like, are you going to have the emotional capacity to then execute the next 6 wins in a row? So that's another thing that I think, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of traders out there that have low win rates that are insanely profitable because their risk to reward is phenomenal. But you have to endure a lot of losing streaks if you're going to adopt that kind of strategy. For me personally, I don't like that. I'd rather have a higher chance of success knowing that I'm going to win more than I'm going to lose. But that's just me. That's just my style. Some people don't mind taking small loss after small loss, waiting for that home run. Yeah, let's see what the higher low looks like. We don't want prices to move too much higher here. Need that pullback in the higher low right around the EMA. Come on, little buddy. Come back to the EMA for us. Nasdaq is moving lower, unfortunately. Had that pretty steep move down with a break. Get a new low of that downtrend. Now the ES has moved a little bit too high for me to consider that high or low, I think. All right, well, I don't think the setup is for me at this point. So we're going to call it there. Thanks everybody for hopping in, making this a great morning. Appreciate all the input, all the trade ideas, questions, and keep them coming. It's good stuff. As always, trade safe, wait for your setups, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a good one, everyone.